I was this person who would just walk into the exam room, write the exam, come out with A grade, right? You feel so happy and you feel so strong that you know everything and etc. and all that, right? And that confidence is very, very, very important, right? When you succeed, when you are successful in something, you are happy and confident, and then that enables you to do the next big thing, right? I'll tell you how it helped me. So, I mean, I went to Vignan. I used to like to learn about concepts, study and etc. and all that. As a, like I mentioned, I had access to good teachers and I studied. I got a state rank here. I mean, during those days there used to be state ranks, and I think they were banned after that. Right? Then after that I went to BITS. There I got a distinction. Then you get into the best of the campus placements, right? I mean, you get into your dream companies, the company that you want to work for. And my dream was to work for an electronics company. I wanted to make a microchip. How many of you know the chips? Microchips, right? These are chips which are there in your phones and all the electronics, right? There's black things that are there with teeth, right? So there's a lot of circuit within it. And as a child, I was very, very fascinated with electronics. Electronics was like magic to me. Like when I was, I think your age, maybe 5th, 6th standard, right? Sorry. We learn the concept of action, reaction, right? I mean, you move something and then it moves, right? I mean, I put this thing here, I roll it, it rolls, right? If I just put it here, it doesn't roll, right? So there has to be something that applies force for it to move and etc. So I was learning about that concept, and then suddenly I saw these fans and these things, right? Where you switch on a switch, the fan rotates. Nobody is going there and rotating the fan magically rotates, right? I mean, you do nothing to it, it rotates, just because you're switching on a switch there. And that, to me, was like magic. When I was your age or a little younger to you, that was like complete magic to me. I started to just learn. I think you were also probably just starting to learn about electricity and electrons and things like that, right? So I studied that there are these things called electrons which move in this copper wire, and then they rotate that fan. Right? And that was so fascinating to me. How, I mean, where do these electrons, how do the tiny electrons make such a giant fan to move and etc. And I always wanted to learn electronics. That's why I went and did electronics engineering, and after that I wanted to work for an electronics company, build a microchip and etc. Right? And because I had good grades, I could just get into any, I mean, my dream office, I mean, dream company, right? I got in there and I was just doing what I always wanted to do, right? Which was building electronics. Again, look at what is happening to me, right? I was very, very happy and positive because I'm doing what I want to do, right? I wanted to do these electronic chips and I got to design those electronic chips, right? So very, very happy again. And then I missed a bus. When I missed a bus, this idea stuck to me, saying that, okay, I'll come to that story, but when I missed the bus, this idea stuck to me, saying that, okay, maybe I could solve this problem this way, right? And my state of mind was very positive and confident, right? Because of the state of mind, I could say that, okay, I'll leave my job and I'll go and start my own company, right? Now imagine if I'm working for a company which I didn't like and I'm doing some boring work that I didn't like, right? I'm very low on confidence, right? Then if I miss a bus, then I'll say, oh my God, such a big thing to set up a company, who will set up a company, who will manage these people, how will I make it work and etc. Right? When you're low on confidence, right? And how did I get that confidence at office? I got that because I got to work for a company that I wanted to work for. Why did I work for a company that I worked for? Because I got good grades. Why did I get good grades? Because my fundamentals were strong, right? Why did I get fundamentals strong? I went to Vignan. But before that also, right? I mean, look at all these things, right? I mean, what you do now, right? I mean, often I think as a child of your age, right? You get to study so many different subjects, right? I knew I wanted to be an engineer, an electronics engineer, but you also have to study biology, right? I mean, and also during our time we had this, you had to, I mean, exam papers, the biology papers used to have, you need to draw these hearts and I think embryos and etc. and all that, right? I used to feel, I mean, what does this have to do with me? I don't want to become a doctor, I don't want to learn about these things, right? And languages, right? All these, I mean, we had, I think, Sanskrit and those things. I say, hey, who knows Sanskrit? Who speaks Sanskrit? And why should you know all those things, right? So, but anyway, I didn't have a choice, right? Parents ask you to study, so you study and then do things. But the thing is, I'm so glad that I studied all those things, though they were not like very relevant to what I always wanted to do. Because it's not the subject that is helpful to me. It's not the subject that I am using it now. Right? What I am using from then is the confidence. Right? Let's say if I ignored my Sanskrit and my biology and did only math and chemistry and whatever, right? Physics, right? I would get very good marks maybe in math and physics, but not so good in my languages and other things, right? And overall, what will it do to my rank? I mean, I don't know if you have ranks now or only grades, but what will it do to that? It will get it down, right? Instead of being maybe a second rank holder, you will be like a 20th rank holder. And what will that do to you? It will reduce overall confidence. If my confidence went down, would I have got into bits? No, right? Then I would not have got into this company, then nothing would have happened, right? All of that started when I was of your age, doing the things that I'm asked to do and doing it well, right? So my biggest request and submission to you all is right now when you don't have a choice. Do you have a choice not to study some subjects? Right? You don't have a choice, right? You have to study those things. When you have to study those things, please embrace them, right? Do well at them. Understand, I mean, don't just study for the sake of studying. I mean, try to understand why is grammar that way, right? I mean, why should there be why is it called noun? Why should the sentence be structured that way? Why is this and etc. and all that. You ask these whys, right? And then you will get to the beauty of any subject, right? Now, all these subjects are logical, right? I mean, language is that way because it is structured that way. It's not arbitrary, right? I mean, it didn't start like that. Biology is like that. Chemistry is like that, and etc. So take time, get to the fundamentals, ask a lot of questions to your teachers. Now you have a big advantage of having access to internet. During our time, there was no internet, right? So any question that you have, you can just go on to internet and find out answers. When you find out these answers, you will feel very, very confident and strong. And now you know what that does to you, right? It will add on to it, and then you will someday do much, much bigger things, right? So I did red bars and it was success. Now after that I am saying, okay, now what else can I do? Will I go back and do something small? No, right? I mean, after you win that, you feel, okay, what is the next big thing that you want to do, right? So you will only progress further and further, right? So you know where the story starts. Story starts here. So please take that up. Sometimes you are not naturally inclined towards that thing. Then you can do something else. Like if you are very good at sports, continue that thing. If you are good at arts, do that thing, and etc. So another learning that I have from my school time, right? I mean, it is very difficult to get, let's say, 80% marks, right? How many of you have like 80% plus marks? Oh, all of you have, huh? My God. Okay, how many of you have like 90? How many of you are 95 plus? Right? So it is gradually decreasing. 95 plus is only 5-6 people, right? That is because, see, though it is very difficult to get to 80% marks, right? It is maybe 10 times more difficult to get to 90, and then 10 times more difficult to get to 95, right? So what it translates to is, like if you are studying like, let's say, 4 hours every day, you get 80% marks, right? By increasing just 1 more hour, you won't get to 95%, right? It is a lot more difficult. Like if you want to be such a Tendulkar, right, you need to practice every day, not just before you got into cricket. Even when you get into cricket, even when you play cricket, every day of your life you have to practice for you to be that good, right? So it takes that much more effort and time and etc. for you to be that good, right? But the good news about that is once you are good at something, right, when you are that good at something, right, it is that's a benchmark that you set for yourself. Anything else you will do only that good, right? The thing is, the thing that is needed to move from 80% to 95% marks, right, is common to everything else. Like if you are a very good artist, right, you are getting 80% marks in, let's say, in your art, and for you to get 95% in art, what are the things that are needed? Not the subject knowledge, right? You need that concentration, you need that willpower, you need that capacity, that stamina, physical stamina to just sit there and take it up, right? So that is common to everything. That's common to art, sports, studies and everything, right? If you don't have it in one subject, then you don't have it in any other subject, right? So choose a subject that you like or a field that you like and try to excel at it, because you are saying you like it, right? If you like, let's say, running, right? I mean, just run so well that you'll be the best at it, right? Not right. I mean, once you are there, then you will understand what it takes to become very good at it, right? And that will help you. Let's say you want to start a company tomorrow, right? And when you start a company, you will have competition. The only way for you to be successful at what you are doing is to be better than everybody else, right? And how to be better than everybody else? Because of that, again, moving from 80 to 95%, that concentration, that willpower, not the subject, right? Me and my competitor will know the same thing about buses, right? It's not like I know more knowledge about buses. The thing that differentiates me from the others is that willingness to put that hard work, right? Even on a Sunday, right, at midnight, that stamina, that attitude, right? And where did I get it? I got it when I was your age, right? So please do that, make it a habit, experience it as to how it feels to be like that, and then it will help you all through your life, right? So now coming to the last one of my story. Some of you may know it because I'm told that how many of you know the red bus story, how it started?
One of them have asked me, I said, okay, better you ask sir in the, who asked this? Somebody is ready in the 9?
Yes,
Who is it? Oh.
Okay, so I'll tell you the story.
You want to ask? Okay, say
That's
ask.
the question? Okay.
like during the time he got this idea, so because there were not many apps about buses or anything, so how did you get that courage, like how the people will accept it, or how will you be able to publish it?
Yeah, so very good question. I went and asked a lot of people. Right, you just go to the bus. The simplest thing to do is go and ask people. Right, I mean, you just ask them, okay, will you use it? If there's a website, right? Go to the bus stand. Sorry. Now those things are very difficult, right? Because you feel shy, right? First few days I used to feel shy. When you go to the bus stand, people are waiting to get into the bus. You go and say, hi, excuse me. Right, hello, I want to talk to you. They say, who are you? Don't come to me, and etc. Right? Then you feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? Right? Then next day you go again, the same thing happens. Right? After a few times, you feel like, no, I don't want to do it. Right? But then I was thinking, if I don't do it, then I don't know whether it will work. Right? I mean, you can't just get into it. Right? Then I told myself, like, as long as I am not doing something illegal, right? I mean, something that is wrong. Like the law says, okay, don't drive on the when the traffic signal is red, am I driving? That is illegal, right? When the law is saying don't do it, if you do it, then you should be ashamed of it, right? No law says that don't talk to somebody in the bus stand, right? I said, okay, fine. I mean, that thinking helped me that, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong, right? So next day I just went to him and I said, okay, fine, even if he says no, I'll go to the next person, right? So I went and asked, right? I mean, if you ask 10 people, 2-3 people will say no, right? I mean, they say, I don't have time, I don't want to talk to you, and etc., right? But the beauty is 7